So the question is, what do you say on your first phone call to estate agents? Well, actually, it's quite easy. Get on the phone, and what I want you to do is I want you to separate out the job of calling estate agents to the job of getting yourself organised. Because if you get yourself organised and then think that you're going to call them, you'll kind of put off calling them, or you won't have your rhythm moving forward. So I want you to separate them out. Get yourself organised first, write down a list. I want you to have 100 estate agents. So I want you to be sourcing in a population of 250,000 people. I want you to have minimum 100 agents. So I was talking to one of my mentees the other day, and they had a list of like 3 estate agents. And I was like, well, that straight away is your bottleneck. You're never going to have enough fluidity in the market with just 3 estate agents on your list. You just won't find, there just isn't enough discounted deals running through those 3 offices. So get yourself, spend like half a day or outsource it to Upwork or Fiverr or any of those outsourcing companies, and get your list of 100 estate agents. Then, cup of tea, here we go, and pick up the phone. And I want you to have all that list, you know, the brand name, the phone number, the area they cover, so that you have no excuses, you know, like you can't fiddle around because it's all there ready for you. All you have to do is pick up the phone and make phone calls. So I want you to pick up the phone, and my name is, and I'm looking for a property in the area. You're the best person to talk to. I'm looking for something with margin. And they'll go, is that a 1 bed, a 2 bed or a 3 bed? And you say, well, actually, you know, my range of price is going to be from this to this, and I don't mind what kind of a deal it is, as long as there's some profit in it. I'm an investor, I'm looking for something with margin. And then they'll go, if it's the first time, they'll be like, can I take your name, your phone number? And you just go, no problem at all, absolutely. And then they're going to come back and they're going to go, so I've got this one, do you want to come see it? And you're like, well, let me just do some research first, because there are a couple of really critical phrases that I want you to think about. The first one is, I'm looking for something with margin. I definitely don't want you to go down the rabbit hole of I'm looking for something to do up. Because we made, collectively, between us and the investor, 80 grand buying and selling 2 flats. We only spent like 6 grand on one and 7 grand on the other. That was hardly a do up, simply replace the kitchen and pop them straight back out to the marketplace. So we weren't going down to like a 50, 60 grand renovation. And I think estate agents think that investors like you want something that you have to do up. No, because you're going to be like 3 months paying bridging cost. No, I want you to be like renovating it in a week and a half and straight back out into the market. So don't ask for something to renovate. Ask for something with margin. They then won't necessarily always be listening, and it's not their fault. It's just that they're not used to working with investors. They're used to working with retail buyers, and you're a wholesale buyer. So they might bring out a deal, and then I want you to sit there, download my property viewing recorder, and sit there with your computer, your calculator, and put something up like Mouse Price or Calnea Pro, or even Rightmove or Zoopla. And as soon as they say, look, I've got number 1 High Street, and you know, you might make, you know, 5 grand on this, which by the way you should reject. I want you to just go in and check the other properties that I've sold in that area. So usually I use Mouse Price or Calnea Pro. But you can also get those sold prices straight away on Rightmove and Zoopla, but they don't always have all of them. So then they're going to give you the first deal, and it almost definitely is not going to be a deal. It's just going to be like something that's got a tiny bit of margin. So I want you to do the maths. I want you to go, okay, so number 2 and number 7 and number 11 sold for this price. What do you think this deal would sell for done up? A1 market value, meaning white walls, beige carpet, nothing special. Okay, and then my costs would be, and you'll obviously calculate your stamp duty, any of your interest costs, your legal costs, and then do not make the mistake that I see so many people making. They will ask an estate agent, how much does it cost to renovate the property? Well, how does an estate agent know? And everyone thinks they do. But can I just ask you, are estate agents property developers? No. So why do you think, or do other people think, that an estate agent should know how much it costs to renovate a property? That's not their speciality. Their speciality is buying and selling properties, not renovating them. So never ask an estate agent how much it's going to cost. A, because usually they're salespeople, and salespeople are super optimistic. So they're going to be like super optimistically excited, and they'll tell you it costs like 5 grand, and actually will cost you 15. And it's not because they're lying, it's just that they're optimistic, they don't know, they haven't renovated 50 kitchens and they haven't got the average experience. So never ask an estate agent how much it's going to cost, always ask them, what do you think I need to do to the property? And get the estate agent to list out, well, I think the kitchen could really do with updating. And is that replacement, or do I just need to change the worktop and the front doors? Because then I don't need to change the carcasses. And I think you could do with recarpeting. Is that throughout? And does the wiring need done? What about the roofing? Is there any damp? So you're asking the estate agent for a list of tasks. You're not asking them for a price. You will take that list even before you go to see the property, and when you're very experienced, you'll know exactly how much it costs. When you're early in the game, you're going to probably phone up a couple of builders and say, could you tell me how much very roughly it would cost to, you know, replace the wiring, redo the plumbing, change a bathroom, do the plastering, do the carpeting, change a kitchen. Later on, you'll just know, because it doesn't, you know, it's identical per property, to be honest. You know, how much it costs to carpet a house or to plaster a house. So mistake number one is never to ask them how much it costs for a renovation. Ask them what do they think it needs doing, and then you're going to find out the cost yourself with your builders, or just later on because you know it yourself. Then they're going to pull out a deal. You're going to go over the figures with them, and you're going to show that for a buy to sell, you need minimum a 20% markup after all costs. Now their job is to get you out for a viewing. Your job is not to go for a viewing until you are damn sure this is a deal, because otherwise you're totally wasting your time. So here I say, would you mind awfully, they can't say no, if I could just do the maths on the phone? And the reason is, I really respect your time, so I don't want to waste your time going to see a deal that I'm not going to put an offer in. Now, who talks to estate agents like that? Like, nobody. Everyone's like, your time is my time, you know, and I'm like, no. I totally respect your time. I only want to go out if I can make an offer. So number one, they're getting respect. Number two, you're telling them you're serious. You want to be doing, you know, offers on pretty much every property you view. They're still going to try and get you out because that's what they've been trained to do. And you just go, would you mind awfully, I've got forms to fill out. Now they totally understand forms because they have to fill out forms on the computer when they're on the phone to you. So suddenly it's like my form equals your form, and they're like, okay, I get that. I say, just bear with me, I'm just filling out the form. And actually I fill out the property viewing recorder, which you can get on my website and is part of my deal sourcing pack. So I fill out and then I go, what do you think it'd be worth done up? What do you think is needed for the property? And you do a quick calculation of how much it'll cost to renovate that, which very quickly you'll learn to cost up. And then, okay, and what do you think it would sell for? Done up. Okay, well, I've just added all the maths together, which is why you need the calculator. And actually, I've only got a 10% markup for a buy to sell. And for me, and for you, I need a 20% markup. So although that's a deal where someone's going to make some money, that doesn't fit my figures. So I don't want to waste your time, dear estate agent, going out to see a property that I can't put an offer on. I wondered if you had anything else that represented a slightly deeper deal, because then I'd love to come and see it and love to put an offer on it straight away. So some of them will say no. Most of them will say, let me think a moment, and they might bring out a second deal, and you go through this whole procedure again. Talk me through what's it worth done up. You're on the computer at the same time, looking at Rightmove, Zoopla, Mouse Price, Calnea Pro, looking at the sold prices, and you're saying, okay, so I think on average you've maybe taken five examples of pricing. They're telling you it's going to sell for 220, and you're like, yeah, I agree. I think it'll sell for 220. You can buy it for like 150, and then you ask them what it's going to take to renovate the property, so what is needing done. You quickly cost that up. You're like, this is close, but I would have to offer a little bit less than the price. So again, I wouldn't want to embarrass you by offering a low price. Do you notice I'm all about helping them? I wouldn't want to embarrass you by offering a low price your vendor couldn't accept. I would need to be offering in the range of. So I'm not even negotiating with them. I'm just telling them what my maths are, and I'm doing a 5-minute conversation rather than wasting an hour of their time. Yeah. So they've got two options. They could either say, actually, Susannah, it's totally not worth your time coming out. And I'd be like, thank you so much. That's really kind of you for telling me, because I don't want to waste your time. Again, respect. Or come out and see it. They may be able to take an offer. Ka-ching! At that point, when they say they've almost given you tacit approval to put an offer in lower. So you notice I've only just now, after all this conversation, brought in information about your vendor is wanting this price, but I can only offer this price. Why? Because I don't care what the asking price is. I don't. I care what the property's worth, and as in what it could sell for, what it could value up for, what other properties have sold for, what other properties are currently on the market for, what the estate agent thinks it's worth, and I care what I can buy it for, and I care the middle bit being how much is it going to cost me to get it to that end value. I don't care how much they're trying to sell it for. I don't care at all about I'll have to drop them 40 grand off their asking price. That's just going to annoy everybody. And so sometimes they will take 40 grand off their asking price. But that's because I'm asking about the vendor's situation. But most of the time I'm trying to spot deals that will go really quickly because they're already trying to sell it cheap. Do you see? And the big misconception people have is that you're buying something and you're pulling down the asking price. You're not. You're just looking for a deal. So my next question is going to be, what's the vendor's situation? And a motivated seller is going to be selling where price is not the most important thing to them. It's about speed of deal, or it's about slowness of deal, the fact that you're going to stick with this deal for a year. I've done that. I stuck with a deal for 18 months once, and it's about absolute consistency. So they may be getting repossessed, and your estate agent needs to know that you can buy this deal super fast. You are super reliable. Or they may need to then find a property for themselves to live in, and they know that if they're in a chain, people wouldn't want that because they might take 6 or 9 months to find a new property, and you're solid as a rock. Yeah, or they might be moving abroad, or sadly they might be getting divorced, or again very sadly it might be probate, so the property's empty. It's kind of nerve-wracking for the other people because squatters could move in. So it's all about the vendor's situation. Why are they selling, and what can you do to satisfy their need of a fast sale, a slow sale, a consistently solidly strong sale that you will not deviate from buying that property. The only thing you can't give them is price, because you're buying wholesale, not retail. So that's why one of my next, have you got something with margin? I don't want you to waste your time. I only want to go out and see properties I can definitely offer on. And then the third thing is, what's the vendor's situation? Once we've got to a position where I'm saying, look, that looks like it's not quite there yet, but it's close to the kind of price I'm able to go and see, when can I come and see it? And this is where beginners make a mistake. They usually then turn around and go, could you send me an email? Oh my goodness, I'm dying at this point. Because some of my mentees, I listen to, they listen to it on, they do recordings, and I'm like, no! When can I come and see it means, can I come and see it in the next half hour, 2 hours, or the very latest, can I come and see it tomorrow morning? I want to get in there so fast. So buying discounted deals is about finding the vendor's situation that allows them to sell discounted and be satisfied, and then being the first person to get in to see it. So how are you fixed for this afternoon? Great, I can clear my diary. What are you looking like? Great, I'll see you in 45 minutes. Thank you so much. So speed of decision making to see the property, you've got to decide on the phone, and you want to get in there super fast. Understanding the vendor's situation, not wasting the estate agent's time, and have you got something with margin? Those are really my 4 key points on what do you say to estate agents over the phone. And we did 45 million quid's worth of property that we sourced for 30 million quid. About 90% were from estate agents, so they were on the open market. People didn't spot them. But we were super, super fast. Once we got a possible deal, I mean, we were literally like, it was like firemen, with the pole, straight in the car, straight out, straight in. And then what do we do the second I come back? Offer in a verbal, I'd like to offer this, email, and letter. No one else does that. So when I'm offering on email and letter, I'm showing proof of funds, I'm giving my lawyer's details, I'm showing them I'm really professional. And then the next time they might take me more seriously. Because first time you do it, they don't know who you are. The second time that you do it, they don't know who you are. The 10th time you do it, they're starting to go, oh, it's that girl, And I typically will offer my lowest price first, obviously. They'll come back, I'll go up, but I know what my top price is, and then typically I'll go up to my third. My third offer is my last price. I leave the offer on the table, I'll put it into my SOS, sourcing offer system, and I go and check back on that deal 30, 60, 90, 180 days. Every 30 days I go back and check on that deal. Because even if I don't get it straight away, 1 in 3 deals fall out of bed. So 30 days later, you know, that deal offered, oh, it's back in the market. They don't think to call you, so you have to call them. Oh, right, I want to put the same offer in. That's how we did over 200 deals, 45 million quid worth of property for 30 million quid in 4.5 years. All phone calls to, 95-ish% phone calls to estate agents. Numbers, 100 phone calls, 25 viewings, 21 offers, 1 or 2 deals. Job done, cup of tea. All right, sourcing discounted deals is how you make serious money in property, but how do you start? Free checklist. Click, link, download now.